This video is about the challenge of picking video category when you upload your video. The challenge I've faced with it. I have a little bit of trouble discriminating which category my content should go into. The category of entertainment is, well, the passing of time in a non-painful way and a somewhat pleasurable way. You were entertained during that time. It doesn't mean you take anything away from the video, however. So I do hope my videos are entertaining to at least some degree to some people in some way. Now, humorous. Well, I think the humor is part of entertainment and an important aspect of entertainment for me personally. I enjoy it very much, in entertainment without it, at least to some degree, I tend to find less entertaining. However, with YouTube, it's presented as a separate category. Humor, parody, comedy. Okay, well, one possible reason that could be is because some people say, you've probably heard the saying, that laughter is the best medicine. So you could think of it as almost a higher form of entertainment where there is an actual positive aspect to it. I have actually heard, however, I cannot verify this, and this is just hearsay, that it's actually been medically tested that laughter is actually healthy for the human body. If a person believes in a spirit, as I do, I think it's definitely healthy for the spirit. And there's got to be, a certain amount of muscles get exercised during it too. So, like I say, that's not a credit, that's not verified fact, but that's something I heard. So, however, I don't think that humor and comedy is considered a category to raise it higher than entertainment. I feel that it actually takes the information that's in the entertainment to be taken less seriously, is why it's a separate category. To be like, now that frees the content creator up from burden of saying actual facts, which could be a good thing for that content creator if their facts are intended to be humorous and not to be taken seriously. However, somebody may hear something that they do believe at any given time, whether it's even being presented as fiction or this or that, as an idea that they agree with and choose to apply it. But that is them choosing to believe something. Therefore, the burden of them thinking they have learned something comes upon them if the category chosen was not education. Now, the category of education, if the content creator chooses this category, they are accepting the accountability for the information they're presenting to be accurate and valid and true information. So therefore, in the search for misinformation, somebody choosing the education category is going to definitely face higher scrutiny of their content, and for, well, I consider valid reasons if you think about it. Now, to understand this monitoring and why it's a must be, let's compare money to information. Okay, well, you've heard the saying that knowledge is power. You've heard the saying that money is power. So you already have that linkage in that old saying. Let's consider also that currency breaks down into units, which are the money that you carry around, the bills, or units that are on your card or account. Whether they be dollar units or in other countries, different units of currency. But they represent how much of the accredited money of the system, the given currency system that you hold. Likewise, knowledge breaks down into units of information. Now, the currency units are only valid if they are accurate representations of that system's currency. Therefore, it can't be counterfeit money. Counterfeit money or bills made outside the system can't be used within the system. Therefore, knowledge is only power if the information is accurate. Therefore, if it can't be allowed to the distribution system if it's counterfeit. Now, the comparison between money and info breaks down when you get to considering that the units of currency must be uniform to be verified as the accurate currency. Information is comprised of thoughts, and thoughts are a smaller unit that comprise information, and information comprises knowledge. So the smallest unit of knowledge are thoughts, and thoughts are arising all the time, all around the world. Each individual is basically a mint of the currency thought. Now, whether these thoughts are right or wrong are either tested by carrying them out or thinking perhaps they're wrong to begin with when you have the thought and not even trying it. Or perhaps thinking it's a good idea, trying it, and it becomes valid information that leads to knowledge. But the basic unit of it are rising naturally. So that gives the comparison more over to a comparison with the control of drugs. Because the basic units, what drugs are comprised of, are basically plants that are growing all around the world. Now, these are units that can be refined into drugs rather as ingredients, or sometimes they are the drugs themselves. But because they're arising naturally, it becomes the focus of control falls upon the mass distribution of them. If they are found to be beneficial, these drugs, then they are taken as they become pharmaceuticals, or they become over-the-counter medicines, but they go through a system of testing where they're accredited by the FDA. So accredited drugs are like accredited college information and accredited currency. They have been tested by a system and found to be accurate. But then you have the drugs that are considered dangerous. That's comparable to misinformation, where it's monitored to be kept outside of a system, and it's usually done through a distribution system. Now, YouTube is a very large distribution system of information. Therefore, not only are they going to have their own legal reasons for monitoring content that's being distributed as education, but they are also going to face government monitoring of that same information that they're being distributed, and not just American government, but the worldwide governments. They have to consider what will be scrutinizing the information and consider misinformation or dangerous information. So, therefore, when choosing a category, for me, the problem lies where I'm a human being. I'm a person, and I'm talking lots of times about subjects. And when I think of a subject, I think about it from lots of different aspects. The funny aspects of the subject, the entertainment aspects of the subject, and sometimes, because it's always thoughts I'm not hearing elsewhere, if there wasn't some newness to what I had to say, I wouldn't bother to say it. So considering at least new to me, the thoughts come. And if none of these thoughts I have are new to other people, well, that would be rather disappointing. So if none of the thoughts I'm having are accurate, and none of them, and some of the accurate ones, if some of them are accurate, if nobody else had ever heard those accurate thoughts before, I'd be very disappointed. So I would like to think that sometimes I have new thoughts that are accurate and somebody's never heard before, and somebody learns something. But I'm not going to say that's the intent I have. It's a hope. I could be. I just admitted to some degree a burden of hoping that a hopeful intent is that somebody actually learns something. But is this an educational video? Well, that's where it comes to the degree where I have to choose what category it's going to go into. But I could accidentally miscategorize it. Like, I might intend it to be funny, and you might not think it's funny at all. And I might intend it to be educational, but you already knew all that, and the things that you didn't know, you don't believe. So I could which category it falls into you could be different than me. And here's an example of that. This is an example of a possible educational video that could be, say I look down and I see my shoes are on the wrong feet, and I say to myself, oh, dummy, fix your shoes. And I think, that'd be a good video. So I make a video and I call it Fix Your Shoes. And I categorize it as educational. And I just say, your shoes are on the wrong feet, dummy. Now, very few people would find that entertaining. Hardly anybody would find that funny or educational. But it could so happen in this great big world, in this broad span of time, that this great big world spans over, that somebody happens to have their shoes on the wrong feet at the time when they stumble upon that video. And if they clicked on that video and they said, your shoes are on the wrong feet, dummy, and they looked down and they were, not only would that be educational, but it could come to them as being so profoundly educational in an almost mystical, mind-blowing way that they could almost be turned into a religious experience over such a video. Now, so to them, it could be very educational and possibly even spiritual. If somebody else happened to be in the room at the same time that happened to them, that religious experience, and they're watching this happen, and they see that video say, your shoes are on the wrong feet, dummy, and the dude's shoes are on the wrong feet, and he's having a religious experience over it, you're going to bust a gut laughing. So to you, it would come as humorous. So for me to categorize it as something, I could be wrong in the categorization. So categorizing my videos as music, these spoken word things, it seems like the safest bet and like the less decrediting of, because I don't want to say it's just entertainment, because I hope some of it's true, and I don't want to say it's educational because I don't know that it is. And so, I don't know what's agreeable as what is on this. So music, now let's think about music. It's music theory. Music is only theoretical anyhow. And if all this isn't total chaos and there is some order at all to any of this that was said, therefore, on the outer fringes of the definition of music, perhaps this can slide in as not being a miscategorized video.